What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the random video blog where every single Friday I, Graham G.S. and Matthews, run down my rambling thoughts on the wrestling world, share a few stories, etc., etc. This is a bit late, like a year late. This happened well over a year, not well over a year ago, but it happened in early September of 2016, not this month. My experience at Chaotic Wrestling, where I got to meet Austin Aries, where I wore this exact same shirt you can see in the pictures. I got to meet DIYs, Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano, Rob Van Dam, and Cody Rhodes, and Tommy Dreamer again, but I had previously met him before this point. But it was a great show. I mean, the wrestling matches, I couldn't even tell you like one single match that happened. There was one really good triple threat with Johnny Gargano, Austin Aries, and one of the Chaotic guys, and I think it was not Gargano and Ciampa's final match in the Indies, but it was like closing out their run because they just signed with WWE, so they were wrapping up their time on the Indies, and they're obviously pretty prominent here in the Northeast. So they made an appearance at Chaotic Wrestling. So I heard about the show. I think Zach brought the show up to me. So shout out to @Zach Donegan on the Twitter machine. He's awesome, and I brought him up here in videos before and whatnot. But I think he brought the show up to me that summer, knowing that I'm not from Massachusetts, but I went to school there. I did my undergrad there for 4 years, and that would be right around the time that I was back on campus. My school semester started up that Tuesday, was when I was reporting back to campus. The show is that Friday on September 9th. So I'm thinking, this is going to be fucking lit. I need to be there. So I literally bought my tickets right away. I got a ticket for Zach, and he was going to come with me because we went to another show together in Lowell like the previous April. Unfortunately, he couldn't make it to the show. Like, he had to let me know like the day of that he couldn't make it, so I just held on to the ticket. It was only like $10-15. It wasn't that big of a deal. But I had to go alone. It's one of those things where, you know, regardless of what the circumstances are, some people will be like, oh, if I'm going alone, I mean, whatever. I'm going to ask my roommate if he wanted to go. Obviously, he didn't want to. He's not a big wrestling fan. But I was like, fuck it, you know what? I'll just go by myself, whatever. And it's not like I was relying on anyone for a ride anyway. I was going to take the train in, 2 trains in. It was a pretty crazy way of getting there, and I had gotten to Lowell before. And I talked about it in an Injection of Inspiration video that I did like way back in April if you want to check it out. But long story short, Zach and I had gone to also a Chaotic Wrestling show in April of that same year, a couple months before this. I took like a taxi to get to the train station. I took a taxi to get to there, or an Uber, whatever. I'm pretty sure it was a taxi. And then I got a train into Boston and another train into Lowell with Zach. And we had to like get a bus to the arena. It wasn't even an arena. It was like a bingo hall, a community center, whatever. We had to walk there. It was a long day, and I didn't really catch the train time, so I didn't even get a train ride home. Neither of us did. It was way too late, and I had to talk to people after the show, so I couldn't leave early for a school project. So we had to take like an Uber ride home, which was my first time using Uber. It was pretty crazy. So I had to avoid that this time. By looking at the train times and made sure I got a train back from Lowell to Boston, and from Boston back to where my school was. So I had to plan all that out. It was a bit, not stressful, but it was a lot to kind of remember and whatever. But I got it down. I got my train from where my school is into Boston, then over to Lowell. It was a couple hours, traveling and whatnot. And as opposed to, and this arena was also in Lowell, but it wasn't at like some random bingo hall, and it was a lot further away. This one was an auditorium, not an auditorium, but a baseball stadium, where I also got to meet Samoa Joe, and I don't think I talked about the year on the channel yet, but I've been to this place before, and I was going to take an Uber there, but there were a bunch of other wrestling fans that were just walking, and it wasn't too far. It was kind of far, it took a while, and I was wearing jeans, and it was really fucking hot that day. It's early September. I'm like, whatever, fuck it, as long as I get there in one piece, I'm with these other people. I won't be chewed out, I won't be eaten alive or anything, I won't be kidnapped or whatever. Like anyone would kidnap me anyway. But still, so we got to the arena, and I was like, hopefully I'm not too late. And I got there just in time. There were there weren't even any lines. Like, I went downstairs, and this is not the Lowell Memorial Auditorium, where I went for NXT Lowell and Ring of Honor's pay-per-view last year, and that other NXT show I went to last year. Not the same place. This is the baseball stadium, the Spinners Stadium, whatever it is, not an auditorium. So it was downstairs, and I just walked down there, and there's no lines for anybody. You just kind of walk up to whatever wrestler you want to get a picture with or talk to, and you could. And so as soon as I walked downstairs, I hear, "Hey, buddy, nice shirt." And it was Austin Aries with not his wife, I don't think they're married, but his girlfriend, whatever, his partner, Tia Trinidad, the former Rosita, Zelina Vega now in NXT. And I'm like, holy shit, that's fucking Austin Aries, who I wanted to meet. And obviously I wore a shirt there, and I was super excited. I was like jaw dropped. I was like, holy shit, he just commented on the shirt, and he's like, come on over here, and I like walked over to him, and I got to talk to him for a couple minutes, got a picture. And he was really, really cool. I went back to him later on in the night because the guy who took the picture for me was some random fan. The picture didn't come out too great. The second picture wasn't that much better, but Austin allowed me to do it for free, which was cool. And I got to talk to him about a bunch of things, being in NXT, the banana thing, and all this other cool shit. Austin was really, really fucking cool. And it sucks that he has since left the WWE, but he was really cool when I got to meet him, and I'm glad I'm glad I did. And I don't know if he's doing any indies anytime soon. He hasn't wrestled at all since he left the company a few months ago, so maybe there's a 90-day non-compete clause. I don't know. But he hasn't wrestled since, so I don't know what he's been up to nowadays except just hanging out. But Austin Aries was really cool, so I got to meet him, take a picture with him, talk to him. And he also gave me a free autograph, too. They all did. DIY, I got to talk to them, and of course, this was before they won the NXT Tag Team titles, like 2 months later. This was right after they officially signed with WWE. And they offered to give me a picture for free, which was really cool. So I got to talk to them and said I was there in the Barclays Center for their match with the Revival, and they were nice. I got to take pictures and talk to Rob Van Dam and Cody Rhodes, both of whom were really, really cool. And I also got to talk to some other independent wrestlers and Tommy Dreamer, who I got to meet up during the intermission. So at the intermission, I went downstairs. I met up with Tommy really, really quick. The picture's not great, but he has like a towel over his head. He was super tired, and we got a picture like for 2 seconds. Didn't even really get the chance to talk to him, but you can check out my experience. Check out my video talking about the experience, meeting Tommy Dreamer for the first time, and all the other subsequent experiences from 3 years ago here in the Random Video Blog. But anyway, back to the story here. So the show was good. Again, I mean, it really wasn't like that blow away of a wrestling show, except for maybe a match or two. But in order to catch the train back to my school, I had to leave like right before the main event, which wasn't that big of a deal. And I did just that. And I got it out of there in time, and everything worked out perfectly. The Uber showed up at the auditorium, not at the auditorium, at the stadium, well before the train had arrived in Lowell to leave there, well before the train left Lowell. So I got on the train in time, headed back to Boston, had to wait a little bit for a while there, and then went right back to where my school was, and I got back home safe and sound. You know, so it actually worked out very, very well after the experience I had a few months earlier in Lowell. But it was a great time, and being by myself, too, wasn't bad either. And again, it worked out perfectly fine. But bottom line, if you ever get the chance to meet any of those people, Cody Rhodes is doing indies like every single week. And I met Cody one other time after that a few months ago, and I talked about it here in the Random Video Blog when I got to meet Ryback, Ricochet, and Jack Swagger. I talked about it then, too. But yeah, Cody Rhodes is always doing indies. Rob Van Dam, I know he kind of picks his spots nowadays. I don't even think he wrestled on the show that I went to. I don't even remember. I think he might have just been there. I don't remember. But he was really cool. So, and Rob Van Dam has always been one of my favorites. So it was really cool to be able to meet him. DIY does not do any of that stuff anymore because now they're with NXT full time, and Tommaso Ciampa's hurt anyway. But they were cool. And Austin Aries, again, I don't know when he's going to be back in the indies. So hopefully at some point you get the chance to meet him because he was awesome being able to talk to him too. And he was well into his NXT run too. He had been there for months. Like, he had signed at the start of the year, and he was still able to do indies and stuff. And he was wrestling on the show, too, which was awesome. And I think that kind of ended after he got hurt and then went up to the main roster to be a part of the Cruiserweight division before he left. But I guess he had the same contract as Samoa Joe where he could do indies and stuff like that. In the same place where I got to meet Samoa Joe the year prior, which I'll probably talk about in a future Random Video Blog. But anyway, that's my experience being Austin Aries, Rob Van Dam, Cody Rhodes, Johnny Gargano, and Tommaso Ciampa, as well as Tommy Dreamer for another time. All of them were great. Definitely meet them when you get the chance. If you have any other experiences meeting those guys or any other wrestlers that you were awestruck by, starstruck by, whatever, and were really cool to meet, let me know in the comment section down below. Tweet me with your experiences on the Twitter machine at WrestleRant. Find me on Facebook at facebook.com/Graham.gsm.Matthews. And that's about it. I don't know what next week's Random Video Blog is going to be about, but stay tuned until next Friday for a all-new Random Video Blog. We do them pretty much every single Friday. So be sure to like this video, drop a comment, share the video, and subscribe to the channel for daily content. I appreciate it. And that being said, guys, just enjoy the rest of your weekend. I'm Graham GSM Matthews, and I'll catch your ass down the road.